Good afternoon, guys. How are we all doing? It's the Mean and Clean team, Marcus, me, and my beautiful wife, our guest, Victoria Hopwood Fox. Hello.
Oh, hello.
You
You've
alright?
got hair on your nose.
That's right. Right, so why have we got Vicks on today? Marcus?
So, we've heard stories of obviously how me and Jody have been addicts and the shit we went through and all that kind of stuff, but we wanted to introduce a different side of the story. When people are going through addiction, it's not just the addicts that's affected by this. It's the people that live with the addicts, the people that are around the addict, the friends, family circle, all that kind of thing. And Victoria, Vicky.
So Dad calls her that.
I do apologise.
I did first time.
I feel like I've been told off now.
Yeah. So Vicky is actually Jody's wife, as we've mentioned 50 million times. And obviously she lived with Jody while he was active in alcoholism. So we just wanted to speak to Vix about what she went through, and so initially at the beginning, if we rewind right back to the beginning, when did it start going from just being able to socially drink for Jody to you noticing there were a problem, and then when did it start taking its toll?
Just trying to think now, actually, because I noticed that we used to obviously, we were quite social, we'd go out, wouldn't we? And
yeah.
like Sundays and stuff, we'd, go for a walk, and there always seemed to be sort of a pub involved or something, didn't there? Yeah. So we'd go and go for a walk.
Which a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Obviously, I couldn't control it, could I?
No, and I noticed he started getting kind of more and more.
I think from my mum, probably. Mm-hmm. More.
Yeah, well, it definitely happened after your mum died, didn't it? Because we weren't. Well, there was lockdown, there's everything. We never really went anywhere, did we? No. We'd always kind of been drinkers together, but not to the point where I thought there was a problem.
Weren't drinking vodka and that.
No, just wine and stuff. Yeah. And then it just started getting more and more smashed each time we went places, didn't you? And we'd go and with the intention of say for example it'd been my turn to drink that time and he'd be the one driving. I'd be there noticing, wouldn't I? And I'd be like, I'm going to have to stop drinking.
I'd just drink what I normally would have done.
Yeah, so he was like...
Not with kids though,
no.
Just us two.
But I'd be like, well, I was supposed to be the one drinking here and he's supposed to be the one driving, and he was just sinking pints, and I was like, well, I'm going to have to stop then. I can't have any more now. So it just... And I really resented him for that, I'm not going to lie. It took its toll, didn't it? And... it kind of, as the summer then approached, it was just more and more. I think the one time that I did actually then notice that he was doing it secretly was I go out for a walk every day, and I went out for a walk, didn't I? Came back, the kids obviously weren't in, came back, and I went out and he was normal, and then I came back and he was just a completely different person. I was like, have you had a drink? And he's like, no, don't be ridiculous. And I was like, you're acting pissed. Yeah. You're acting pissed. You're not yourself at all.
And you come across more pissed and more like you act more guilty when you're trying not to act guilty.
Oh, yeah, of course.
As well, though.
I thought no one had noticed.
I could see in his eyes immediately, and then from that point, I knew. But, when you just kind of try to get on with stuff, and I noticed he was falling asleep more. Well, yeah, you do, which now.
But that's to training and burnout. It's nothing to do with drink.
You're blaming burnout for your sleeping, man.
Yeah. You were falling asleep more. He was, as much as he was presently there, he wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I felt like I was sort of single-handedly doing everything for the kids, school runs, everything pretty much. You just weren't.
No. You
just became a shell of yourself, didn't you? Mm-hmm. And then that's when, obviously, I noticed that things were spiralling out of control.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Me and you have been in the same position, Joe, but did you feel at time like what you were doing were wrong, and did you see detrimental effects it was having on Vix?
I think when you're an addict, obviously you're very selfish.
Yeah.
So all I knew is that I needed that drink to be able to cope with what were going on in my head.
Yeah.
That were my medicine, that were my paracetamol for an headache sort of thing. And I didn't think it were affecting anybody too much until it got worse. The alcohol got worse, and I knew then because it weren't giving me the same effect as what it would. Do you know what I mean? It started to like not take effect, and then the depression were really, really hitting home, and then obviously the intrusive thoughts, suicide thoughts. So then I knew then that were it.
Yeah.
Had to sort it.
Thing is, I think at that point we noticed that there was a massive. I think we were let down by mental health services and things work with quite a lot, and
massively.
That took its toll because I was constantly chasing people. I was getting in touch with rehab centres. I was constantly in touch with the Leeds. What were they called? The Leeds one. I can't remember, but the Leeds version of like alcohol services.
Yeah.
I was doing everything that I possibly could to try and help him, to the point where I knew his mental health was that bad, and that's when he'd like started like harming himself. Yeah. Not only the drinking was harming you, obviously, but like physically.
I don't think they knew that, did they? I don't think you guys knew. I don't think I've said that, but when I was drinking heavily, I just got the strimmer, the garden strimmer. Don't know if anyone can relate to it. And because I was drunk, I just stringed my leg wide open, you know.
You should have had stitches for that.
At that time, the adrenaline rush of that pain, I loved it. I loved it. I think there's a song, an Eminem song, the adrenaline. I think it's in what's it called? He says that pain's an adrenaline rush. In one of his songs. I can't remember which one, but it's true. That was true, and I don't know. I just liked it. It's funnily enough, but obviously that wasn't me. That was a drink. I lied about that. I said I'd eat a rock.
Yeah, you said a rock had hit you. So then he was like...
See my bone and everything.
I know. I was like, well, you need to go to hospital. He was like, I'm not going to hospital. So I literally I was that fuming. I got the bottle of Dettol, didn't I, neat, and just poured it on it. I was like, I'm just going to have to cope with this then. And I just went, poured it on it. He didn't even flinch.
Yeah.
And then I poured loads on some kitchen roll, wrapped your leg in cling film, and then had to go to town to get some dressings for it. It just would not let me do anything with it. Yeah. I had to put butterfly stitches on, do you remember?
Yeah.
So, because he just wouldn't go to hospital. I was doing my best.
That were a rock bottom moment. As much as at the time I thought it was funny. Yeah. Just thought, fucking not bothered. Because I didn't like myself, so it's probably that.
You didn't see how it kind of affected me, though, did you?
No, you don't. And you don't care, do you?
No.
Because you're not in that mindset, whatever, to give a shit what anybody thinks, because you're that overwhelmed with everything that you're polishing off bags and drink that you don't care, do you?
But was there a time where, let's say, if you sobered up a bit, would reality kick in as to what's happened? It did for me. Like, obviously, you know, my relatable bit to that is obviously coming on, you know, being on a come down.
Yeah.
So being on a come down from sniffing coke and stuff, you know, everything's a good idea, and you don't get like an argument's a good idea. Every bad thing, negative thing is a good idea. But then when you're on that come down, it's like, well, massive, heavy regret. You know.
I didn't regret me. I just started drinking again.
Just to mask it.
Because it's like another problem.
It didn't have time for me to sort of come down.
No, and I think also you didn't have feelings. It's as if you didn't. From my point of view, I can remember expressing how painful it was for me to see him like that, and he just did not. I mean, I'm not ashamed to say you weren't a nice person.
No.
So, like, he just didn't care. We never, ever argue, ever, do we? Ever. Like, obviously, we have, like, the odd tiff about housework or something.
We did 2 minutes ago when you left a bag of buttons out on the side, because I've just done kitchen.
An empty bag. Yes, I did.
Yeah, just tidied all kitchen, right? we've just had Sunday dinner. Sorry, going off thing, but it gets boring if you doom and gloom all the time, doesn't it? So, tidying up our kitchen, gets kids sweets. There's a bin over there, but no, the buttons bag's there.
I was too busy feeding the children.
It's Sable's turn, Jody.
I know.
If you did that,
I'd never do that.
Yes, you would. You just.
I never leave rubbish
Shut
anywhere.
up. You just leave your shoes everywhere. A big gym bag in the middle of the
gym bag
living
is
room
there because I
for
might
Cleo
need
to
some
trip
things
over.
out of it, like my adrenaline shot if I overdose on happiness.
do us a favour. Don't fucking do that again.
I just keep reminding myself that I'm married right now. I'm like,
Yeah.
God, it's going to cost a lot of money to get away from this.
Yeah.
Just put up with it, bitch.
She was literally stood in the kitchen a minute ago looking at a ring when he came out with some dumbass comment and she's like, you love him, you
No,
love
it wasn't.
him, you love him.
Because I burped.
Like, yeah, it was just because he burped.
He
You know.
burped.
Man can't breathe now.
No, he's changed his ways since we got married. You fart more.
No.
You do, and you burp more. I'm not bothered, but like it has changed since we got married. And we've been together 4 years. I don't know why in the last month you've decided
do
to
you know what?
completely change your manners.
It's got to a point in my life now where a man needs to fucking pass wing and he shouldn't. Am I bothered if you fart? I don't know.
You high five me.
Exactly. I farted in car and I thought Vic's made out it was like fucking, what's that thing
I
called?
was gipping.
Chemical warfare, like fucking asbestos mask came out and everything. It
I thought I got into a car with Putin.
Page siren fucking going
It was
It was
horrendous. It wasn't
horrific.
fart.
It was awful. I've got video footage of me.
She was gipping, and then I'm just like, this is too much.
So
What was I talking about? You've completely taken me off tangent there.
I don't fucking know, drinking and being an alcoholic.
You were a dick, basically.
Yeah.
I was a dick.
That's it. But I know we're proper selling this sobriety shit to you all because we're saying, you know, if you get sober, you burp and fart more. For any bloke, that's just a dream. You
Yes,
know,
there you
just
go.
to burp and fart, and you can blame it on being sober. Blame Mean and Clean team. We don't give a shit.
In small print, burp and
No.
fart acceptable.
Yeah.
In loudness.
But one thing I wanted to ask you, Vix, is so obviously you are a survivor of domestic violence. Whilst Jody was going through all this, did at any point did you feel in fear that you might have to relive any of that?
No.
I just fell asleep.
Yeah.
No, because it wasn't.
I want the violence.
It wasn't. Obviously, we argued, but that was mainly because I resented him so much, and I thought he was the most selfish person in the world. But the thing that hurt me the most was that it wasn't anything like that kind of thing. Like there were a few triggers there because I'd kind of been through things before, but I never for 1 second thought that he'd turn on me at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
But the thing is, and I'm sure Dee will agree with this, there's nothing more heartbreaking than watching the person that you're absolutely besotted with falling into this pit and you being unable to help them. And that was the thing that was the hardest thing, was that I just wanted to help him to the point where I even tried to get him sectioned. And that was heartbreaking. And then when you ended up in the Becklin Centre in Leeds, and they phoned me up the day that he got taken, I tried to get him sectioned 3 times because he was telling me that he didn't want to be here anymore. And then as soon as the emergency doctor turned up, it was like, I never said that. And it's like, you literally said it to me and my dad, and now that the doctor's here, and the doctor was horrific, and I won't even get into that because I ended up kicking him out of my house because he basically said that Jody had to go stand on a bridge in order to get emergency mental health care. I was fuming. I absolutely kicked off, and I do not swear in front of my dad, but I swore like you would not believe and told him to get the fucking quack out of my house. I was fuming. So my dad was very apologetic to the doctor, and I'm like, why are you apologising? He's just pretty much said he needs to go and stand on a bridge and threaten to jump off to access mental health services. It's disgusting.
To which is an alcoholic and he's
Very vulnerable. I said, you're honestly sat next to
in my head I was going to do anyway.
Yeah.
I know, and I said,
you just had a professional opinion to go do that.
yes,
Yeah.
to access mental health care. I've never been more mad in my entire life, and I've been through a lot to get mad at, but I've never been more mad.
It's like if you go to doctors and you ask for a general health checkup. Like I asked for one and I had to fight hammer and tooth to have one. And they said, "Why, what's wrong with you?" And I said, well, no, I just want to join the health check. And there was
Like a
well,
little MOT.
we can't do it if there's no wrong with you. Why? Because you can't prescribe me shit that you can't get paid a prescription.
That's exactly
Is that what it is?
That's
Yeah.
exactly
That's why my faith is lost in it all. Do you know what I mean? Because it's all just a selling point. You know, they promote health and everything, but they don't, because they want you to be, they want you to run towards pleasure, which causes pain, which then in the middle they you know, supplement you with something they're getting paid on, and to me it's a load of bollocks. And you know, I know a lot of people that have been let down by, you know, with system in terms of mental health and stuff. So I can imagine.
It was so frustrating. It was so. I'd go as far to say it was infuriating, actually, dealing with. And I get it, they're overstretched. I completely get it. But you can see how many lives could have been probably saved if they weren't at capacity and weren't like that. But it just horrific. And even my point to that was that when he got taken into the Beckland Centre, literally the same day, they phoned me up and said, he's had an assessment, is he alright to come home? And I literally had to say to them, no.
I said I didn't want to go home,
But
I knew I had to stick that out.
But you shouldn't have stayed in there the length of time that you did. They said it isn't normal.
No.
And I was like, well, he's not coming home. I said, he's absolutely not coming home. Now, not that he ever would have done anything in front of the kids or anything like that, but I just said it to make sure that he stayed in. But I was like, sorry, he's got a family at home and I'm not having his kids around this and stuff. Just to keep him in there.
One thing that forces you into recovery as well. I mean, number one for me, it was a case of, well, I've got no money left to fund it. I've exhausted all my options to get hold of the stuff.
Yeah.
Number two, all my safety net. Number three, sorry, all my safety nets have gone. So like, I can't just go home, because obviously me and Dave broke up at that time, and it was like, she made it pretty clear that I had to get the fuck out of the house and sort myself out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So when you sort of know all your safety nets have gone, you've exhausted all the options and all that kind of stuff, and for Vix to say that she didn't want you home, do you know what I mean? That kind of plays a thing in your head to say, well, fucking hell, only way I'm walking back through the doors if I get right again.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I did want him home, but I wanted him more. I wanted more for him to get fixed.
Yeah.
And I thought, I have exhausted every avenue here and it's just not working, so I'm going to have to. And it was horrible. 2 weeks, I didn't see him. I didn't speak to him hardly. Just text. I didn't go in and see him because I was like, no, I want him to know that this is what he's going to end up losing if he carries on going down this road. And it worked. You didn't go sober straight away when you got back.
No, I didn't, did I?
No. It took a bit, but we worked on it. Yeah. I mean, that's another thing as well, because the drinking, the drinking services, the alcohol services, they discharged you, didn't they, after 5 days? Which you don't get. This is what I mean about that, bridging that gap that you need to do, because Jode literally had 3 suicide attempts and was drinking heavily. They first of all said, there was a lack of communication, wasn't there, between the services. So the alcohol services hadn't been informed that you'd attempted to take your own life again. The mental health services didn't know other stuff, because it had crossed over between Huddersfield and Wakefield and Leeds,
it got lost in it.
Everything got lost in translation. So it's like all his notes just disappeared. So nobody followed up. And then eventually we got mental health nurses coming out, didn't we, to come and see you. But after a week of him saying, yeah, I'm alright, and then he'd speak to me after, the nurse, and he'd be like, is he? And I'm like, he's lying to you. He's not at all. He goes into a deep pit of depression. He sits there and he's like, well, I have to go by what he says. And I'm like, well, we're stuck then, aren't we? And then literally within a week you were discharged from mental health services.
Yeah.
And
a week on it.
We had to basically do it ourselves.
Yeah.
We were like, right, we need to shift your focus here. You've got to do it. You're going to end up killing yourself. And that's when you decided then that, I don't even know what clicked with it. Well, it was when you took yourself off, wasn't it? And went missing.
The big one. That was a big one. That was the rock bottom on it, which everybody's heard. I'm not going to go into that again.
Look at previous ones.
But that was the one. That was the one.
Yeah, and then you kind of came back from there, and I think did your soul searching, and you were just like,
fuck that life. But it's hard. It's, addiction is a real illness, and I can understand anybody I could listen to anybody and nothing at all would shock me.
Yeah.
With addiction, with behaviours, with what's happened. It just doesn't. People don't realise how bad addiction is.
1,000,000% before, and it's very similar to the domestic violence thing, because a lot of people say to me, and I know as well, I can look, before I went through what I went through, I would have looked at somebody who was being abused and I'd been like, you'd just leave them, wouldn't you? 1,000,000% I said that.
Just stop
And
drinking.
Before Jode became so poorly, I would have said it's not an illness. Alcoholism isn't an illness. You're just choosing to drink and mask your problems. Just deal with it. But
that's one thing that boils my piss. When people say, you had an option. It was your choice. Yeah. Nobody forced you to do it. Fuck off. What were you
and
there?
I've been there though, Marcus. I've been the type of person who would have said that because I was that naive to it all. When you don't know how much an addiction engulfs you into it and it's your entire life, if you've not been on the sidelines watching it or being involved in it, you've absolutely no idea. You can't even comment because you don't know. It's exactly what I say to people about domestic abuse. I get a lot of shit on my Instagram, a lot of people saying what a load of rubbish, blah blah blah, and I just think to myself, do you know what, I feel sorry for your daughter if you've got a daughter, if you think that. And it's always men who comment it as well, always men, never women. But you cannot say
they'll be fucking offenders themselves.
Well, something's going on. But like I say, before I would have said that.
Yeah.
Until I had been there and actually seen
I would have done
the depths that you went to.
Yeah. I would have done.
Because of it.
I would have done.
I think you get to understand it. I mean, I know it's been case with me and Dee as well, where she's got to understand my addiction and the reasons for it once I got clean and once I was able to level-headedly tell her, this is what triggered me, this is what caused it, and I don't think you can actually pinpoint what causes it, what kicks it off. You know what I mean? It's just like a clusterfuck of just events.
Yeah, and I think if you look, say for instance, if you look in this room, me, my wife and you, it's like, when you look at our lives, we both lost as dad when we were young, right? The childhood trauma, not really dealt with that. Sexual abuse, lost both my parents now. And I'm not saying you haven't lost anybody, but do you see how sometimes the childhood traumas, the big things, that's probably why we were addicts.
And I says, in one of the previous shows, I says, I was going to become an addict. I didn't expect anything less of myself than to become an addict because everything I've been through, you know what I mean? And I always handled it well. So I know loads of people, like loads of kids that are growing up now, and I look and I think at some point you're going to get hit with addiction because they're going through shit, or they're in the middle of, but they've been sort of trained and brought up to be like, you can get through it. Look back at all progress you've made, look at what you've got through, you're still here today. Don't get it twisted. At some point, them kids are going
to happen.
Yeah, they're going to get to a point where it all sinks in and they all start asking themselves questions and they start soul searching and searching for truth and that. I did a lot of that.
Yeah.
And then they will, without knowing, end up in a situation where they're around it. They'll start going out on a weekend drinking. They'll be drinking in a park or whatever. They'll get access to drugs, which any kid can get access to anything these days. And then before you know it, all these questions start popping off in their head, and bang, smoke, drink, that's what it'll be. Yeah. And then, even if it don't become a problem in the teen years, later on in life it will, when real life stresses as well start coming, when reality and the way of the world, it'll all just come down on them, and especially when you have your own kids. Yeah. Because you want to break that sort of generational curse, you want to break that chain. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of things I don't want to happen to my kids that happen to me. I don't want Diago, my son, to go through what I've gone through. I don't want my daughter to go through anything like what you've been through. So it's like, I've got a lot of protecting and shielding to do. And for a certain amount of time, I was kind of clueless and lost as in how to deal with that. How do I do that? Yeah. How do I teach him to be a man when all I've had to do, all I've done growing up is go through shit trauma, torture, that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but I've been through this now, and I will always say, I hate drugs, I really do, but I'm so thankful and grateful for my addiction, because in 10 years' time or whatever, my kids can look back and go, yeah, my dad was a drug addict, but look how we fucking turned it around. You know, that is the main thing. That is the
A
biggest
lot of
life
people
lesson I
don't
could
make
give them.
it.
A lot of people don't
no.
make
A
it.
lot of addicts don't make it, unfortunately. And Matt, I wanted to add this as well. Obviously, I'm not blaming what's happened to me for being an addict. I've just it's sort of fueled the addiction, because some people out there have had probably worse trauma than us and have never been addicts. So fair play, and that's fucking amazing.
It's down to personal
But it's down to
tolerance
personal
levels,
tolerance,
isn't it?
yeah. And it was just one thing that got out of control with me.
Sorry to interrupt and be annoying, but can you open a window? Because I'm actually sweating.
What? We're fucking professional podcasting here. We're in the studio, there's no windows. Honest.
It's so warm, I'm actually
Fuck
sweating.
me. You having a hot flush,
I
love?
think so, yeah.
Fucking hell.
Thanks,
Right.
babe.
Right, so I've opened the window.
Thank you.
So, what-
Victoria getting these bloody awful.
Right, so yeah, so that's it. We don't want to go into. Ooh,
No.
fucking fell off, chair. We don't want to go into too much like of thingy, but we do want Victoria to have her chance to talk about your little your venture from abuse to happiness.
Why have you done that? You've put me under pressure. I said,
Under
do not
pressure,
put me
do-
under
do-
pressure.
Not
Martin.
pressure, just tell everybody what you do.
But you could have done it a bit more subtle than that.
No, fuck it.
Oh, God. What do you want me to say?
Just what you want. Just.
Well, what is it? What do you do?
Right, we're two strangers to this.
Oh God, I feel like I'm in a job interview
That's
now. We're
even
not doing
worse.
that. That's
Oh.
worse.
Do you want me to get my
So
shirt and tie on?
basically, I am a survivor of domestic abuse. I noticed very similarly, actually, to you guys, that there was a gap in sort of a gap that needed bridging in recovery from domestic abuse or past trauma, because similarly, you have your counselling and your talking therapies, but I have found that a lot of victims and survivors felt that if you are talking to a counsellor and they've not had the lived experience of abuse, it's like talking to somebody and being judged, and even though you're not being judged, you still feel like you're being judged.
Yeah.
So when I struggled with my trauma counselling because of that, I trained as a counsellor a good few years ago, and then thought there's something missing here, like I need to provide something. So I now provide a service which is very similar to you guys, but helping people recover from domestic abuse and past trauma. So they come to me, we have weekly online groups, I do one-to-one trauma coaching and like counselling sessions with them online. We have a 24-hour WhatsApp support as well. I'm arranging for a weekend retreat in May for all of the girls to get together. We've really formed a massive bond as well. It's so nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Like
what you've told me, that it's
exactly. Like
that's what we it's getting like that with Mean and Clean, isn't it? It's becoming a little bit of a brotherhood.
Yeah.
that's it, and that's what I think. When that's what you need. You need like
What's that?
you need camaraderie.
Yeah.
It's like you need bread.
Yeah.
You need camaraderie, don't you? You need like that support network around you. And the girls who, and they've said this and they've written testimonials about this, have said that what has been missing has been that community of like survivors together. So all being able to,
There's not
you
enough.
know, vent to
Yeah,
each
there's
other,
not enough of
or no, not all.
You know, we're all quick to have a fucking. We're all quick to say it's somebody's stag do and put in a group. Yeah, let's get fucking smashed up. But there's never anything positive, like groups of people who
That's it.
survive stuff, or groups of former addicts, groups of. You know, it's always like 30th birthday. Let's put them in a group. Let's all say where we're going to go, which is fair enough. But there's not enough recovery stuff, is there, like that?
No, and that's what we're doing. So
Yeah.
you know,
And
oh
your
my God.
books, you've got one book out and one coming out, haven't you?
And then another one.
We may not write books yet because we can't write.
Yeah, so
I've said it before, I can only count to F.
You can't
Count
round
to
from
F.
fucking
just
4.
got
4.
3.
We're doing that today.
Count from 4, it's wrong.
4!
Right.
4 is a magic number.
that. I feel like I'm third wheel here. I
Right
feel like
now.
it's like a bromance going on, and I'm just like
No,
the one side.
right,
I'm like,
so-
should I be here?
Right, that's all like the nitty gritty
Now
stuff
let's talk
done.
about my books.
Oh yeah, books.
So yeah, I have a journal out, which has been a long time in what's the
Coming.
word?
A long time in coming, that's what people say.
In construction.
I'd go to doctors for that, mate.
Production.
That sounds
Haven't you
like
heard
a
of the
medical
phrase?
issue. No.
It's been a long time coming. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Sean
yeah.
Young, you're only 20, happy birthday.
Oh, it's his birthday today.
Took your fucking time with that, didn't you?
29, lucky
I haven't
bastard.
given you your card yet either, I'll give you that.
Right.
Yeah, so I've got one book coming out. I'm doing a trilogy of journals. So my first journal is called Time to Heal. That's out at the moment. You can buy it on Etsy. And my website, which I'll get the boys to link underneath.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm getting used to all this now.
Yeah, but I can't do
subscribe.
that shit. You say that and then you're like, I don't know how to
Yeah,
do
but
it.
you'll give it to me to
Yeah,
upload it, so whatever. I upload all their stuff as well.
That's correct. You actually got a job title,
I
haven't you?
came up with a job title last night,
Forbes got a job title.
but I can't remember it. It was really good as
Vix
well.
is a part of our team. She does a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
The admin and booking.
Nobody knows that I actually
Well,
work
they do
for
now.
you guys. Yeah, so I'm. What did I come up with? It was something really good. It was like
social media.
no, it was like
Man.
business
Man.
development. No, business advisor and social media management. Or so, I
Something
can't remember.
like
It was
that.
really good though. It was a good one. I'll
Very
think
good.
about
Yeah, we
it.
have to staple 2 business cards together just to get a fucking title on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was I talking about?
Your books.
Yeah, so I'll get into no, I'll tag it underneath. And I've got my next one coming out, which is called Time to Manifest, because in my group we all are massively into goal setting, similarly to you guys again, like it's all about finding
Gotta
those
have a
goals
goal.
and working towards them, because you can only heal if you've got something to work towards. That's how you move forward. And then I've got another one coming out as well in summer, which is going to be called I'm not going to tell you actually.
Yeah.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Cliffhanger.
Because I haven't announced that one yet. But yeah, so my Time to Manifest is out next month.
Yep.
There you go, that's my plug.
And
Done.
apart from all that, we've had a pretty entertaining week. It's been quite entertaining, but it's been quite productive as well,
It
hasn't it?
has. We have been on radio.
I've been on the radio, and if I'd have known, I'd have got a fucking haircut sooner if I knew we were going to be on radio. Even though it's got fuck off with me.
Yeah, fucking see.
That's the point!
Oh, I need my
Me and
haircut.
Joe looked at each other like, what?
Do you know what I did? I brought
That's
a
the
cat
point!
because I thought I looked. But then Marcus said I look like a trucker.
You look like Forrest Gump.
I just kept running!
So yeah, we have had it was brilliant, wasn't it? We saw Sophie and Danny. We're gonna talk to Danny about going on the radio.
Again.
Sat in doing podcasts there as well. What else have we done? We've had so much.
You've had lots of
interest.
meetings.
Yeah, we've had a lot of meetings. We've had so much interest in our packages,
Yeah.
but we've had a lot of interest through the week. But when it gets to Friday and Saturday,
Yeah.
people are back on it because
Yeah.
they don't answer
Or
our
the book,
calls
or the booking for a free consultation.
on a Friday night.
And they confirm like half an hour before, but this must be when that first scoop has just hit in. Yeah. Great idea, I'll get him to cover it.
We've had for it too.
Yeah, then it kicks in and then
But we've
they'll
had
pick phone up, but
we've had 3 new sign-ups, haven't we?
we have, yes. Growing every week.
Yeah,
And
you've
You've got
kids
to
are
want
coming in.
you've got to want it though, haven't
You've
you?
got to,
Yes,
yeah,
you have.
yeah, and that's. I mean, we spoke to somebody that didn't sign up, and it was that more their parents that wanted it for them. And when it came to crunch, the person who the parents were wanting to recover, did somebody fart?
No.
No, when we fought on the carpet.
Thought
Yeah,
I
the
did,
parents
but-
wanted it more than the person, so you have got to want it, but really want it.
Yeah.
Tell
You
me
have-
what you
you
want,
have-
what you really want.
You're being more silly because
Feel
I'm on.
sorry for
I'm not.
entities.
You are.
We've been told it's too serious, so.
Who said that?
Too serious.
Nobody, I just made it up.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Fuck them, whoever says it's too serious.
No.
No one did, he just made it up.
I just
He
made it
likes
up.
to do that.
So
Oh,
yeah, so
emphasises.
we now. What were I gonna say?
I've got it fucking written down, anything.
Have you really?
No.
Yeah, so we are still set the 7th. We're getting a lot of interest in the open evening down at the branch at Wakefield, so that is good.
And I'll be there.
And Vix will be there, and we're going to have Luke there, a day 30.
I'm sure
Six.
I'm sure they'll
Day
correct us if we're wrong.
Luke is going to be there. He was our first. Marcus was my first client.
Aww.
And then,
You're his first.
and he's day 70 on his 29th birthday today, so well done, Marcus.
Day
And
70.
then Luke is, I'm sure he's day 36 today, so he's going to be at the open day, and he's going to be talking about how he's doing. And
what a good lad for doing that though, because that's not going to be easy.
no, he's a bit nervous, but
one thing we've seen with Luke as well, like his confidence is getting more.
boom.
It's gone boom.
Well,
Yeah,
he's trained today. He smashed it. That's why I look like this. I've just finished work, haven't I? So I'm sorry.
Wow.
So I'll get all the views for steroids and that, but fuck it.
It's jealousy. It's just jealousy, babe.
Well, yeah, he's Luke's smashing it, and other people are starting to get there now as well. Because all the clients at the minute, they're at different stages in the recovery. You start noticing a pattern with like they become, you
You can sort of call something that's going to happen before it's happened because we've been through it.
It's generally between day 30 and day 40 where the addiction for the gym kicks in or training.
Something's there. Something's
It's
there, isn't it?
switched.
Yeah.
Like the
The
switch. The switch
Yeah.
is flipped.
I think your early days is just basically about just finding yourself again, and then just being able to not take the shit.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
Which
Once you've sort of
it's the
managed
hardest
that.
bit, isn't it? Obviously.
Yeah.
But like, it's always going to be there, like we say, all the time. Went out for a meal last night, everybody's drinking round me. Doesn't bother me at all anymore.
You're not bothered, are you?
At all.
You just like order
I
loads
just
of
eat
water
loads of,
and eat all my food.
Drink loads of water, make sure wife gets a big portion of something, and then eat that.
That sounds
And
wrong.
a dessert.
Sorry.
I mean, it was tough for me. Like we went to Leeds yesterday to the cinema.
And they can drink in there, and
Yes.
every man is
Every man's in
I've
there.
never been. I want to go.
We went to watch the
I'll be
Willy
asleep in 10
Willy
minutes.
Wonka. Went to watch that, which is a good film, by the way. No paid endorsement. But yeah, we went to see that, and they come up to you, waiters and waitresses, and they say, "Oh, would you like an alcoholic beverage?" and all that kind of thing. And it's like we purposely, specifically went to the cinema to not
to get
do
away from that.
Yeah,
Did
but-
you not know that they do that?
Well, yeah, I knew as soon as I walked in and saw fucking bar, I thought, well, there we go. And then I saw geezer going round, and just like an alcoholic beverage, and I was just like, this cunt's going to come to me in a minute, and I'm going to be like,
How do you kind of react to that then? Because like Jode
I just said, fuck off.
takes pride now in saying no, I don't drink, don't you?
Yeah, I like it.
He likes it when people ask him because he's like, no, I don't drink, but she does. She'll drink it all.
And then I like to think what people think. I wonder, and I'm thinking, well, I wonder why he doesn't drink. Not that the normal alcoholic, they might think he's a fucking superstar athlete or something like that. Yeah, I like that.
Which one,
shit.
so
Well, I am an athlete.
athletes.
But anyway, he does take pride in like not
Yeah.
in saying no, thank you, I don't drink.
I mean, I've not really. The majority of places I've been so far, it's been primarily people that know me and know what I'm going through.
Yeah.
So nobody's really put me on my toes like that, apart from that one time somebody tried to buy me a shot for being
To
30 days sober.
It's just, it's a thing, innit?
That'll have been completely like no, they wouldn't
won't
even
have meant to
realise
do it,
it. They'll be
will
like, oh, well done.
I'm cocking my arm back like, fucking what, you made a mistake. But no, I think like yesterday when they come up and they're asking that, like, no, can we just have a milkshake, some live popcorn because we're fat as fuck. But yeah, but it was weird, like from the moment I knew we were going to Leeds, like I knew it were going to be, because Leeds were playing as well, so
Yeah.
like, you're going to get all football fans there at the train station, they're all going to be drinking on the train,
Rowdy.
we're like a fucking train in China,
Yeah.
like when you see what the conductors pushing them on the train, it was like that, like we were jam-packed, I was not hugging the door,
Yeah.
it was ridiculous,
Yeah.
but everybody was drinking and people were rowdy, and then you get into Leeds, and it's just full of like,
Similar.
stag do's, end
Yeah,
do's,
no, yeah.
you know, just people on day sesh basically, and you can see ones that are wired off the tits and stuff, and then coming back, same thing, and I'm thinking to myself, fucking hell, it's my birthday, and you know, it's my birthday weekend, and do I miss it? Yeah, kind of, but not for the effect of the alcohol, but you know, to go to pubs and you know, which you do miss it.
You do miss
it. You know,
it.
you do get
miss
the beer
it,
blues, but I just kept thinking that, and like we say all the time, it's on important days, important occasions like Christmas, New Year, Boxing Day, birthdays. That is when
you're always going to have your difficult days, aren't you?
Hard.
And you literally will always have them, but I think it'll just get easier as you go along.
Yeah.
You're always going to have your challenges. It's like any kind of obstacle that you've got to overcome. You've always got your challenges there.
Yeah.
I still deal with mine.
Yeah.
Don't I?
Yeah,
all the time, like
Mm.
all the time. Luckily, I've found somebody who is massively understanding of everything.
Not bad.
Yeah.
thought you were going to say it's massive.
But it's
No,
like, you've got to find somebody who's understanding, like Dee, myself, like, you've got to find that person who's understanding there, who can cope with what you're going through and actually see that you underneath it all. And that's what I saw in him. It was like, that's the only thing that kept me going.
I mean, as well as like, I mean, you'll agree, well, when you get sober, you do owe an explanation. You do owe an apology for what you put them through. But at the same time, I've found you kind of owed that listening time for them, you know, like
to understand.
Like I needed to know Dee understood what were going on in my head.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it as much as we've put you guys through shit and everything like that, but the one thing, and I had to be honest with Dee, you know, I had to say, listen, there were things in relationship prior to me becoming, you know, hardcore addicted. There were things in relationship that I wasn't happy with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It worked both ways. There were things, you know, there was a point where we weren't really happy. You know, and things happened and stuff, and it that kind of contributed to things. You know, and that's not me putting the blame of the addiction on her, but that's me saying I found it hard to cope with them things.
And you chose a certain way of coping.
And that was it. So it's like, it is in sort of a realm of responsibility, but it's, because we don't put it on you and say, well, because I got meant to feel that way, or I felt that way when you did this, or when we both went through that. It's kind of like, I'm not asking you to take responsibility, but all I'm asking you to do is just understand that is how I dealt with it, and that's how I felt.
That's kind of what we had to do, wasn't it? I had to get to a place where I was like, right, okay, there's only going to be one way out of this, because I'm not going to let you kill yourself.
Yeah.
So we have to sort this out somehow, and I had to sit down and listen to him, and he had to explain to me, because we weren't in a bad place. We were in a fantastic place now. As much as, yes, your mum had passed away, so we had gone through some shit. Yeah. And we were going through some other personal family issues. Yeah. Well, family, I'll use that loosely. Yeah. But, which obviously was causing you distress. I was also pregnant. Yeah. Like, we had a lot of stuff going on, but like within our family unit, we'd tried for Cleo. We caught on with Cleo quite quickly after we started trying. We were over the moon, and then your mum passed away. And so we had a lot of stuff going on, but in the dynamic of family and how you would want your family to be, we've got an amazing house, we have beautiful, you know, we've got a beautiful family, everyone was happy, everything was fine, but it was just these little things, these demons in Jode's mind that he couldn't handle. And you can have, it just proves, you can have everything that you want. We had an amazing life, well, we still do, but it had got to such a good place, we were comfortable with money.
Well, look at celebrities that do it.
Exactly.
They've got everything, haven't they? You know what I mean?
When you look back though, like, other than the fact that you had your, obviously, which is a big thing, your childhood trauma from your mum passing, and the other shit that was thrown our way unnecessarily, then other than that, if you took that out of it, there wasn't anything wrong in this scenario. It was all the outside influences that were causing shit for him, causing grief. And similarly, he couldn't cope with it. That was his way of coping with it. Because I think with Jode as well, and I'm sure it's the same for a lot of men, Jode just wants to look after us. He just wants to look after us all. He wants to be the protector. He wants to be the one who comes in and brings the money in. He wants to be. And when shit's taken away from him and his vulnerability is exposed. He doesn't like it.
Yeah.
And he really struggled with it.
I can relate with that, and any man listening to this could probably relate with that as well, because you feel like you have a role to do, you have a job to do, and that is, you know what, we might not be best at cooking or cleaning or doing, but at the end of the day, if some motherfucker breaks through the door with an hatchet, it's gonna be us. You know what I mean? When push comes to shove, it's gonna be, you know, we'll be sending wife upstairs with kids, and it'll be us that'll be facing death. Yeah. You know, that, like, I'm not saying women won't do that, because you look at lionesses and they're having a fucking fierce.
Well, I was going to say, God, I'd have done that back in, you know.
But at the end of the day, it's one of them where, I mean, if I was still in that state, and I was as weak and vulnerable as I was, and that situation never happened, I know for a fact Dee would have been stood in front of me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, she would have protected me because she knew I was weak at the time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But, like, and that's how you know you've got a fucking good woman as well.
Yeah.
But when they are willing to stand in front of danger for you, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there was once a time where something had happened. There were two people that got a bit shirty with me, and you know I ended up hitting one of them, and then somebody else came up, and Dee had his daughter in his arms, and she put herself in the middle, which I said to Dee, I said, don't ever do that again. You'd never put your hand in between two dogs fighting, so don't do it with two blokes. But I went off my head.
Sometimes instinctively as well.
I went off my head, but the fact that she did that made me feel less of a man, because I felt hang on a minute, the mother of my kids should never ever feel like she has to put herself in harm's way to protect me when that's my fucking job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I think it just shows that though, sorry to interrupt, that you have a strong woman there.
Yeah.
Like, I tried my best to protect you. Everything that I did was to protect you, and even now when I think of the shit that you've been through, I still get so mad because I couldn't protect you from it. And I think that's the thing nowadays, isn't it? Like, as much as I completely get that you men want to be the protectors and that's just an instinctive thing, I think now, because us women are now coming into our own, where, you know, you get a lot of independent women, we're all wanting to be empowered, and it's more of like we're a team, we're not you're my protector, we're a team, and we've always said that. We've always been a team. Everything that we've faced, all the shit that we've been through, from my side, your side, we've always dealt with it as a team, no matter what it is. And I think that's it, and I would stand in front of him.
Well, I think that's kind of like a woman when it comes to having babies, like your maternal instincts kick in. Like, men and women parent differently, don't they? But, you know, women will teach. Women will teach, you know, the kids certain life skills, and men will teach, you know, them the other things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jumping off a wall into nettles.
Yeah. But I think it's hardwired. It's hardwired into us. You know what I mean? And as much as I think, like what you're saying there, like, yeah, we're a team and the other one's certain, you know, allocated protector with a team. Like, yeah, I get that. But it's hardwired into men.
Yeah, this is what I mean. It's instinct, isn't it? It's instinct.
But for me, like, you always see when women get a partner, they always look for qualities in that partner of, are they going to live up to my dad? Do you know what I mean? Will they live up to my dad? And
what are you looking at me for? I'm
wondering if you're living up to.
I'm not going to be a sergeant in police.
Detective.
Sergeant detective.
No, detective sergeant.
But then it's a case of as well, like, right, so
sorry.
Are they going to, you know, they're going to live up to my dad? But then with men, when it comes to finding the right partner, it's not about the looks, it's not about the personality. All them things can help. They can help. Yeah. But like, your mother in particular is. There's a saying, I think 50 Cent said it. He says, you know, a woman will love you for her protection, but a mother loves you. No, sorry, a woman will love you for her survival, but your mother loves you for your survival. Yeah. Now, when you can get a woman or a wife partner who loves you for your survival as much as you love her for her survival, who can match that instinctiveness of your own mother. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, where there's no. Like, her and your mother are on the same wave, you know what I mean? Then that's when you know. Yeah. That's when you know that the person you've married is fucking spot on for you.
Yeah.
Like I know, if I was stood somewhere now and somebody brought a gun up at and my mum and Dee were there, they'd both probably try to stand in front of me.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Like you won't see one of them taking a step back, waiting for the other one. They both, and that's how I know that you know she's.
You've got a lioness.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. But at the same time, you always see lionesses. You know, they'll walk in front because the lion's always got a back. You know what I mean? To protect her from behind, from where she's vulnerable.
I feel like growing
Oh,
a
that's
mane now.
so lovely.
That's what it
Please
is.
don't. You need your hair cut.
I know.
Please don't grow a maid.
Do you know last time I got my hair cut? 19th of December.
Yeah, we thought we did.
1957.
Yeah, I thought I was going to say that, you know.
During
Like
the war.
1960.
During the war. This time next year, Rodney. Anyway,
I'm not
right, so...
fucking Rodney. Well, you're short, so
Dave.
you're Del Boy.
I'm Del Boy.
Dave.
Yeah.
I only knew
Well,
this
Oh,
person.
don't. That's my favourite.
Well, today, my names, my names for people, I'm just absolutely shocking. So I went to meet Marcus's uncle, who was called Carl.
What
And I
did
was
you
calling
call him?
him Wayne.
Fucking Wayne.
Why do you do that?
I don't fucking know.
Party
There was
on,
somebody
Wayne.
else and you were calling him a completely different name. Who was it?
That kid who came round to the house, wasn't it?
Imogen's.
No, it was Terry's fella I was calling him.
Oh yeah,
So
what were you
something-
calling his name? Was someone
Not
else and
Terry.
you were calling him
Benji's name.
Aaron or something? Were you?
Karen?
Aaron.
Oh no.
No, you were calling him something random.
Well, I've been pissed then though, haven't
That was back in old house. It wasn't that bad.
I? Yeah. So anyway, so we're running out of time now. So going forward, every Sunday now for the next foreseeable few weeks, we are going to be having people on, aren't we?
Yeah. Next week we've got Luke, our first sign up.
Yeah, 36. So he'll be into 40s then, won't he, next
We'll
week?
be at. We're going to have him on, and he's just going to, you know, sort of.
We'll just
go
put some
over his
questions to him. He's a little bit nervous, but
Yeah.
you know, he should be proud of what he's doing.
I mean, there's going to be people out there that are looking at what we do and thinking, does it work? You know, have I got the bollocks to do it? And we get it, it's fine, but this is going to be, you know, the guest that was our first sign up, our first client, and he's smashing it.
Proud of that.
So you'll be able to get a first-hand experience from him, what we've managed to help him do, because we've not saved him by any means, we've not done it for him, he's done it.
This is the thing we say, that you've got to want it and you've got to invest everything in your heart and soul to be able to recover.
Yeah.
We're here, we help, we put plans in place, we visualise, we make you visualise visualise
Spat on me
things. I didn't spit on you.
You did a little bit.
And it does help, but at the end of the day, you've got to do it.
Yeah. And then in the coming weeks as well, we're going to have, like I mentioned last time, we'll have Dan Francis on. We're going to have the lads from Boxed as well.
Yeah, box. Tom.
Oh, is Danny coming?
I don't know, Tom Hanks, we've got him.
So Lance,
Oh, you're being serious then?
Yeah, I've
idiot.
sort of called him. Leonardo DiCaprio and Johnny Depp.
yeah,
so-
Johnny Depp.
Ooh,
yeah.
exciting. I'll be
Well,
on that
it's going to be his Joe Dirt.
I did tell you we were ordering them from Wish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, right, so fucking don'ts are 4. Right, do it from 5.
Wait, 4.5.
Can I join
I'm
it?
counting down.
Yeah,
the
well, after,
balls.
why don't we do 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Keep it. Right, go on then.
4.
No, Marcus! It really messes with my
Look at
ADHD.
him.
Yes. Oh, you were not
Right,
with it.
we'll go from 3
Got cramp
this
in
time.
Right.
In fact, I should be saying we'll go from 4 because it's my birthday. I should be allowed this bit of fucking.
Yeah, but
Well,
it
you
don't
know
work.
what? Don't
Well, you
matter.
do 4-3.
Yeah, you
Well,
do
then you weirdo.
Right. 4, 3,
2.
2,
1.
1. Keep it mean.
Keep it clean.
Ka-ching.